Riding Shotgun continues with Ray Cody and Sierra Scott and the tale of two Ferraris.
I'm here at the Telluride Airport, and what better place to store amazing automobiles than an airport hangar. I'm so excited today because I'm here with my good friend Ray Cody, who is one of the co-founders of the Telluride Festival of Cars and Colors Car Show. And I'm so excited to talk about your cars. You know, Ray, one of the things that I love about you, and we've been friends for a long time, is the fact that my love of cars has grown through you. And I have always loved beautiful automobiles, but you have taught me so much.
Oh, thank you.
And we have the tale of two Ferraris. You have a wonderful collection. We're just looking at two of your beautiful automobiles. I kind of want to know the history. I know this is actually one of my favorites too, although I don't think it's the most expensive car that you own, but I really like this car. What's the story behind it?
It's a 1992 Ferrari Mondial. And I bought that car because I had been to a Ferrari event and some of the owners were talking about the next Ferrari that they thought was affordable and that would go up in value, and the Mondial was that car. So I searched the country. I looked all over America. I couldn't find any that were in really good shape. The cars have been driven. I found this one in Canada, and I bought it from the original owner, and the car is in excellent shape. It's a 308 motor that they put in these cars. The car is it's a four-seat Ferrari, and the four-seat Ferrari is unique because most Ferraris are two-seat cars. The reason I buy four-seat Ferraris is I have grandchildren. I have 12 of them. In fact, this one belongs to my 8-year-old grandson. I buy each one of them a car, and when Grandpa's gone, that's what they're going to get. So this is EJ's car, and he's going to learn the car as we grow together, and then when I'm gone, this will be his ride.
I love it. And I can't think of a better way to be remembered, because this will give you the most amazing memories. Because I know you tend to work on them with your grandchildren too, which makes it mean even more. Can we take a look inside? Because you're saying it's a four-seat.
Yeah.
And you're right, I'm not used to seeing that. Oh, wow.
So they were popular in Italy with basically with families. Mothers drove these cars. The purist Ferrari collectors, they didn't see any value in these cars whatsoever. But now, as time has gone on, anything that has the prancing pony on it is becoming very collectible. And I really think I bought the car well. I've had it for several years. I don't drive it a lot. I put 100 miles a year on these cars. I'm really just the steward of them while I'm caring for them. But I love the car. Great car to drive.
And I love the term prancing ponies.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Can we take a look at the engine? Because I think it's so interesting to look at the different engines that are inside these cars. Black cars, especially when they're clean, just are the most beautiful automobiles. It just doesn't
really
showroom ready. So what makes this unique and different?
Well, the 92 and 93 models were the first ones that this engine was put in, and it's a true Ferrari performance engine. Earlier models of the Mondial had a smaller displacement in it. This one is a Mondial T. The motor is transverse, it sits sideways. The car's got about 40,000 miles on it. People generally, Sierra, don't drive Ferraris a lot. They're an experience. But this particular model of Ferrari was a driver for people. And even in the United States, when they first came over, people bought them to drive the cars, yeah.
And I've been inside of it, and it is amazing. These handle a lot more smoothly than I would think they would.
This is a go-kart. This thing is on rails, and you can roll around the mountain roads on this, and it just stays in its lane. It's a pleasure to drive this car, and it's old school technology. It's rack and pinion steering, but I just love the car. I love sharing it with people. I love seeing my grandkids grow with these cars, and for me, that's what it's all about. This is a 612. This car is this is a Grand Touring car. This was built in a tribute to Sergio Scaglietti, who was Enzo Ferrari's coach builder. It's a luxury Ferrari is what it is. The reason I love this car is because it also is a four-seat car, and again, I have 12 grandchildren. So, I can take a couple of boys out, we can have a great experience in a mountain drive. This car was built in 2005. It's about 580 horsepower. It's called the 612 because it's a 6-speed, 12-cylinder paddle shift car. And it's a 200-mile-an-hour car, but at 200 miles an hour, and I've never driven it that fast, but it doesn't have that scary feeling. It's a very solid platform. That's what Ferrari is known for, high-speed performance and being that solid platform. That's a 12-cylinder Ferrari engine. These motors are in huge demand now because Ferrari doesn't make them anymore. So the value on these 12-cylinder cars is really starting to skyrocket. It's just a lot of fun. It's got huge power. Would you like to take it for a ride sometime?
I would love to take it for a ride. Let's do it.
Yes.
Oh, this is beautiful. You know, there's nothing better than a beautiful view in a beautiful car, I gotta say.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is gorgeous. You know, the thing that I love about Telluride is it's so unique. I think that everything about it is just...
It is a special place.
So how fast would you take these roads?
Well, this car is capable of taking these roads probably at around 100 miles an hour.
Are you serious?
But I don't. I'm not a
I
driver
wouldn't
that can
either.
handle this car. Honestly, Sierra, this is way more car than I am driver. And I don't push these vehicles. I don't. Myself, because I don't have the skill sets.
Well, I don't want to tear it up.
I've driven with people who are professional drivers, and it makes me realize what a terrible driver I am.
What more it can do. Yeah. It is amazing when you're with a professional driver what they can do.
Yes.
But they know when to give it gas.
I know it.
And I sat next to a professional driver that was coaching me.
Me too.
And he was saying, hit the brake, now punch
Yep.
it, now hit the brake. It's amazing how much quicker you can do corners when you have somebody telling you.
Yes.
I love this. I don't know. This has a different feel to it than my car. You know, the thing is with cars, I develop a relationship. I know the feel of my car, and over time I would learn the feel of this car, and I would know what it could do and what
Yes.
it couldn't do, and what I should do and shouldn't do.
It's so true.
And if it was my car and not yours, I'd be more willing to push it to the limit. But it's like, I don't want to do anything bad to your car. This is the first time I've ever driven a Ferrari. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Oh, look at the view. That's the one thing I love, that you share the experience. And this is really cool. If I knew these roads and no one was going to be on it, I'd do these corners a little better than I'm doing. Man, look at this. I gotta say, I'm driving one of the coolest cars in the world and one of the coolest places in the world. In fact, today I just told somebody, I said, you know what? This has got to be the entrance to heaven. It is amazing. Wow, this thing is above and beyond. It handles so well on the corners. It feels so smooth. Actually, I tried to get it going as fast as I could. It felt like it wanted to go a lot more. And I wish I was a better driver because I think this car could have handled a lot more than I gave it. But I'll tell you what, this was the experience of a lifetime. And I could not have been happier. This is a beautiful automobile. And I feel so excited that I got to drive it. It's just an amazing car. So Ray Cody, thank you so much.
Well, that about wraps her up here on Riding Shotgun. One more little story to tell. Here's Sierra Scott.
Hi, I'm Sierra Scott, and I'm here on the unofficial Telluride Cars and Colors Car Show. We couldn't have it this year because of COVID, but I love the fact that people love this car show so much, and this would have been the 5th year, that they come anyway. And I love the fact that some people gathered to show their cars, and Doug Almond was one of them. And I tell you what, I love your cars, first of all.
Thank you.
First thing I want to ask you though is, why did you show up? Because technically we weren't having a car show.
Well, so, we've been coming up here every year, and the scenery is phenomenal. The people are great, the food's great, and also the Telluride wine is fantastic as well. And so we just decided, Doesn't matter if the show's going on or not, we're coming anyway.
And that's what we said too, because again, this time of year is just absolutely exquisite, because that's part of the name, cars and colors. So you get both. And you have very colorful cars. First of all, this beautiful Ferrari, what is the story behind it? Because that's one thing that I love about car shows. It's not just seeing these incredible cars, but it's learning the stories behind them. And this has quite a story.
Yeah, this one has a little bit of a crazy story. So it's a 1986 Ferrari Testarossa. It's actually a gray spec car, so it was one of the 150 that were imported in 1985, 1986. And I rescued this car about 3 years ago from Green Valley, New York. It had been sitting in a warehouse for 12 years in an estate sale. It was in terrible shape, and I managed to restore it all to original.
Now what I think is really neat, because the first look, I thought it's missing a mirror, but it's not.
Yeah.
You restored it back to its original condition.
Absolutely, yeah. So the original owner, it has a little bit of an unusual story. It has some mafia ties, some low-level mafia ties.
Low-level.
Low-level mafia ties. But the original owner was, how can I say this? He was height challenged, and he was only 4'11", so he could not see over the dash, and he couldn't see out of the flying mirror. So the car was converted to a 2-mirror car, and he had the exact same leather that the seats are made of. He had a pillow, and that's what he used to sit on. But so when I found the car, they still had the flying mirror, they still had the leather pillow, and I converted it back to its original spec of a flying mirror car.
I love it. I just think that makes it even more unique. And again, the stories are what make this car. Now, on the restoration, because you said it took a while, did you do all of it yourself? Did you have to have people come in and help?
Oh no, I wish. I wish I could have done it myself, but all I did is some of the exterior work, but I let the experts do the engine.
Oh, it's beautiful.
But it's all original. It's all back to all original spec.
Really? Wow. I bet it drives like it.
It drives fantastic. It's a great GT car. It's still very comfortable. The seats are comfortable. I've got some newer cars, and those cars are not comfortable, but this thing is just great to cruise around in.
Isn't that fun? So unofficially, because you can get in trouble for telling me the truth here, how fast have you had this car? What was the high speed?
Well, so I have done the Texas mile in it, and I did 156 in the standing mile.
Oh man.
And that's all stock. And just imagine, 34 years ago, this car was running 156 miles per hour in the standing mile.
That is amazing to me. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful car. But that's not the only one. In fact, you have more than this. You just have 2 here right now.
Yes.
But I have always wanted a McLaren. That is one of the cars. This is my dream car, and the color on this car is outstanding. What is the story behind this car?
Well, so this is a 2016 McLaren 675 LT. There's only 500 coupes in the world. This is a little bit special. There's only 3 in Latana purple. And this is the only one that has carbon fiber fenders, hood, quarter panels. The only metal on the car is the doors and the roof. It's an absolute blast to drive on the track.
Oh, I can't even imagine. So how about this car? What's the highest speed you've had on this?
Well, now that was a little bit higher than the older car, but I've had this one about 208.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Gosh.
That's in a controlled environment on an airstrip. So
now, since it's all carbon fiber, how much does this car weigh total? Do you know?
It only weighs 2,850 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
That really is well, that helps you get the engine moving. Okay, we want to show, yes, what we can show, because this is absolutely
Well, actually, the problem is you can't open this. It can only be opened at the service because
Really?
These things are bolted in. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, you can't open them unless you're in a service center.
Oh my gosh. So how did you acquire this car? Because it is so unique.
Well, back in 2016, I was really wanting this car, and because I wasn't one of the special McLaren customers, I couldn't get it. So I have to do a big shout out to Mike Ward in Denver. I told him a couple years ago what I was looking for. About 9 months later, he shows up with the car and says, "Here's your car."
That is incredible. Now you've got some other incredible cars too. What are some of your other top cars that you'd like to share with me?
Well, my favorite car, although it's terrible to drive, don't ever drive your heroes, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I have a 1989 Lamborghini Countach. And it's the epitome of supercars, but it is so terrible to drive.
But still, it looks good, and that's what matters,
It looks fantastic,
right? You can
though.
take great pictures in it, at
Yeah,
least.
absolutely.
Is there one car out there that you have not owned that you would love to own?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
A 1965 Ferrari 330 GT.
Okay.
That is my ultimate car that I want to own one day.
So if somebody's out there with one, This is who you need
I
to
would
talk
love
to.
to, but it needs to be a deal. It needs to be a deal.
I love it. Doug, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for sharing these beautiful automobiles.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
I don't know about you, but I sure like that Sierra Scott. She's a sweetheart.
Oh, wow. Let's talk about what's under this hood. This is interesting.
That is not the hood. Motor's in the back. Cut.